All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 8. That is right, week number 8 of your 9410 class, which is your cultural heritage class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and this one is going to be, again, a shorter one, but as far as check-in videos. But good reason why this one is shorter is because you are watching a video that I'm going to be in this week as part of your learning materials. And so why would I have you watch a long video of me if you are going to watch another long video of me, which again, you only have to watch the first 45 minutes of the recorded video conversation between me and Bill. But I do hope you all enjoy that conversation between me and Bill. I do want to say, first of all, very quickly, that that is a rare opportunity to actually be able to actually just interview somebody who is going out of business and have them be willing to interview you and have them be candid about, how times have changed and how the closing of their business is affecting the cultural heritage of their communities. So, Knit Snacks has since closed since I recorded that video, which was back in 2019. So, yeah, we do not have a local music store in Henderson, North Carolina anymore. But I think that you all will be interested to see, what happened and why, and also to just hear, the frustration from somebody who actually has lost their business because of times changing and how the loss of that business could affect the local community in Henderson, North Carolina, and the surrounding areas. So I do hope you all enjoy that video and get something out of it. Again, you can't always just know that somebody is going out of business and then ask them to let you interview them and have them be willing to do so. So that was a rare opportunity, a unique opportunity for me, but one that I thoroughly appreciate. Okay. Now, as far as state of the course goes, there are a few other things that I wanted to bring up. First of all, the discussion boards are still looking great. Keep the great work up. I am appreciating what I'm seeing in this class, and especially this is a smaller class than the previous cultural heritage classes were. We had close to 30 students in the previous ones, and this semester we have, I believe, there are fewer than 20 of you. There's between 15 and 20, which is it's cool. It's cool. Actually, I have seen, like, when you have so many, when you have like a lot of people in a class like this, it does do wonders for the discussion boards because people are opinionated and they're going back and forth on the discussion boards and everything. But even not having that, I do feel that, the even with this smaller class, I think that you all have gotten pretty, I don't want to say cozy because that just sounds kind of creepy, but you all have gotten very comfortable with one another. I see some interaction. I'm liking what I'm seeing. And you all seem to be having fun with each other. Not just a grandiose time or anything, but when I look at you all respond to each other on the discussion boards, it does look like you all are appreciating the opportunity to learn from one another, which is one of the things that I wanted to be a centerpiece of this class, is having my students actually learn from one another and everything. And it does seem like you all are doing a great job with that. It also seems like you all are just doing a great job of just being enthusiastic and just also, just not taking it too seriously. There are classes where you got to be kind of serious. Actually, my business class is about to start on the 13th, on March the 13th, and you have to be serious in that class, but you don't have to be serious in this class. You really don't. This is a class where you can kind of take it easy and just have fun. And so I'm glad you all are doing that. Now, don't forget that a week from Sunday, on March the 19th, is when your second paper is going to be due, and I do hope to have your visit to cultural heritage papers graded and back to you soon. I apologize for the delay in getting those, but I've had other things, as you all know, because you all have other things too, and I have been able to keep on top with grading your discussion board posts, but I've had a little bit of a delay getting into your papers and everything, but I do hope to have those graded by Sunday night, which will give you a full week to make sure that your APA is good and tight prior to turning in your for Heritage's paper. Okay, so I plan to have because I want you all to see whether or not you did your APA right or wrong. So I do hope to, again, by Sunday night, have your first written assignments back to you so that you can check and make sure that your references list is formatted properly in the second assignment here. Okay, so that's pretty much it for that. Now I'm just gonna go soapboxing a little bit into, let's see if I can actually pull up this window here. Okay, there we go. So I do just want to talk about local businesses and cultural heritage. So a lot of librarians, and probably quite a few of y'all, are definitely anti-capitalist, sometimes even run into librarians who are just straight up anti-profit, which that's something that we don't have time to talk about it now, but that's kind of a misconception that we have a lot of times in America. We think that people who are socialists are anti-profit and don't want businesses to make profit. Socialism doesn't mean that businesses can't make profits. There's just a difference in worker ownership of companies in socialist societies. So having said that, I do feel that there is a place for local business, a local business module in a cultural heritage class, because a lot of times local businesses are what actually spark the growth of a community. So if you have a community that's not really known for anything, but then a company is founded in that community, and then that company grows and grows and grows, that company actually helps that community place make or become a unique place. That company actually does help that community become it helps give that company its unique identity and that sort of thing. And so even when you look at some of these towns where different companies and stuff have been founded, you will find that, a lot of times there is extensive history written on companies that were either founded or located and significantly grew in a particular area. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit right now, because this has actually even been mentioned in this class. So you all, I think, already know what I'm talking about. This is actually the History of Nebraska blog. So this is something run by, I believe, the state of Nebraska, because it's nebraska.gov. So I believe the state actually runs this, okay? But the state is acknowledging, and one of our students in our class actually shared with us, because he lives in Hastings, Nebraska, and he has told us that Kool-Aid was founded in the town that he currently resides in. And so if you look at History Nebraska here, if you look at this blog, you will see that there is a whole blog entry about the founding of Kool-Aid. You know, it's not a long blog entry, but still, it's something. It is something to recognize and acknowledge that this is something that people know about all over the country and perhaps even all over the world, and it was founded right here in our state. And then if you're Brandon, you'll say it was founded right here in my town that I live in currently. So, you know, when I say that that local businesses can help place make and help communities find their identity, this is what I mean. You know, this is it is important to the state of Nebraska that Kool-Aid was founded there, so much so that they have put a blog entry in about it. And so if they didn't care, then and it wasn't important to the cultural heritage and the local history, then you probably wouldn't see this blog entry. But again, this is something that locals probably take a lot of pride in, especially I'm sure if you went to Hastings, Nebraska, if you found people who used to work for Kool-Aid there, like retirees who used to work for Kool-Aid, they would probably have a lot of stories they wanted to tell you and that sort of thing. And the reason I made this assumption is because also when I was a reporter, unfortunately, these stories never made the print because they were really, really good stories, and I hate that they were never printed. I hate it with all my guts. But when I was working as a newspaper reporter in Henderson, North Carolina, one of the main employers that helped build that town up, which was Harriet and Henderson, which was a textile mill. When they went out of business, what we did was we got a listing of their former employees that were still owed money. It was some sort of public listing where these people were still owed money by a bankrupt company. So their names and their contact information and the amount that they were owed, my editor got it through some form of public record. Okay. And I remember calling those people, and it was weird. It was a weird experience to call these people after they had just lost their jobs. Some of these people had literally worked for Harriet and Henderson from the age of 17 or 18. They didn't go to college because, I mean, we're talking about small town people. I'm from a small town. So they didn't go to college. They graduated from high school and then worked in the textile mill. And there were people who were, they'd been working there since 18, and they were in their, 40s and 50s, and still, they didn't really these people weren't guaranteed their pensions for some reason. So there were people who lost their jobs unexpectedly and still weren't in a position to retire. There were people and so a lot of them they were angry, or they were hurt, or they were scared. But a lot of people were also very nostalgic. And it was a weird assignment when my coworkers and we had to call all these people and ask them about their experiences when they used to work for Harriet and Henderson. But again, there were a lot of people, especially retirees, a lot of people who had worked there since 18, and then they were able to retire. Most of the people who had worked there had gotten a job there between 17 and 20. They were still able to retire between 55 and 60 if they reached those ages before the company went belly up. But those people, the retirees especially, who had worked there from 18 to 55, they just let it flow about their memories, about how much Harriet and Henderson meant to Henderson, North Carolina as a community, how that one business also allowed for other businesses to open up, for instance, truck stops and restaurants and that sort of thing, to serve the people who worked there, or to serve the truckers who were bringing stuff in and out, and that sort of thing, and how all of this was just interconnected. And these people had some of the most fun memories, because you're not going to work at a place that you hate from the age of 18 to the age of 55. You just ain't going to do it unless you really, really don't have any options. But these people, they were just nostalgic. One man even, and he went a little far, but this is how country folks can be. One man was just even like, yeah, I enjoyed working at Harriet and Henderson, and I was surprised that I enjoyed it because some of my coworkers were Hispanic. And when he said that, my eyes just went, whoa! I didn't say anything. I was on the phone. I didn't say anything, but I was just like, whoa. But, this is a country boy talking about, he went on to talk about how, it was easier for him to get along with other races due to having worked with other races, and then realizing, oh, these people are human. Once he had to work with other races, he sort of wised up and realized that people are people, and different types of people can come together to work together and to make something good happen in a company. So yeah, if you talk to people who work at local businesses, then you can really start to get a sense of how those local businesses become part of the cultural heritage factor. And just because they are profiting does not mean that they are not offering something useful, something important, and something worthwhile to their local communities. And so, again, I used Brandon's example. I think it was Brandon. I hope I'm not getting my students mixed up, but I think Brandon is my student from Hastings, Nebraska, who had told us about Kool-Aid and it being founded in down there in Hastings. And then also, I probably mentioned this before, I used to work at Forsyth County Public Library in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and you'll see the same thing here. Winston-Salem, North Carolina is where Krispy Kreme donuts were founded. And so that was important enough because Krispy Kreme is a brand now. In fact, Chris Rock, not in his most recent comedy special, but in one of his old comedy specials, Chris Rock even was talking about Krispy Kreme. That's Krispy Kreme is big time. It's all over the place. People love Krispy Kreme donuts when they're hot and fresh. And I am no exception to that. I don't eat the donuts a lot now because I am trying to stay in shape. But boy, when I was young and had a high metabolism, you could catch me buying a dozen donuts hot off the presses and just eating six of them right there, right in the parking lot. That's how I used to do. That's how us Carolina boys used to do back in the day when we were younger. That was that was us celebrating our Krispy Kreme. So, but yes, Krispy Kreme. And if you talk, even people who are not from Forsyth County and people who are not from Winston-Salem, you'll still talk about people in North Carolina. I mean, you'll still find people in North Carolina who talk about Krispy Kreme being from North Carolina because it's a big deal to them. It's something that they take a lot of pride in. And for those of you, Bojangles isn't big in the Midwest, but in the South, for those of you who live in the South, I know a few of you do, Bojangles is big there. And Bojangles is another thing that was founded in North Carolina, founded in Charlotte, actually. So, we take our business like our local businesses very, very seriously when they grow. When they grow, a lot of times the community where they originated, they want to claim them and they want to say, hey, what you enjoy, what you love, that started where I'm from. And that's how you get pride in local communities due to cultural heritage. So I am going to leave it there. If you've got a couple readings, they're very light readings. I think there are 3 required readings, and then you also watch the first 45 minutes of that video. After that, it's optional. You can watch it if you want. You don't have to. And that's pretty much it. I am going to leave it right there. And I am Dr. Jace, and Krispy Kreme donuts have a heavenly taste. I'll see you next week.